All right, let's give you an update then on that fire that took place in Parliament. The DA has called for an independent forensic investigation into that fire that took place and destroyed several parliamentary buildings. Chief Whip Natasha Mazzone says that this is important because the police cannot investigate themselves. The DA held a media briefing in Cape Town following the fire that destroyed the entire National Assembly building and part of the old Assembly building. Meanwhile, some firefighters deployed to the parliamentary precinct have started to leave after working their way through the building, attempting to locate hotspots. The first fire broke out on Sunday and caused extensive damage. The City of Cape Town Fire and Rescue spokesperson Jermaine Carlson said that they were able to bring the fire under control just after midnight, but have remained at the scene to assess the damage to the building. Carlson says that 2 floors of the National Assembly, 4 and 5, have been completely gutted following the second flare-up. All right, then, let's get an update. We now cross live to our Cape Town senior reporter, Abra Barbier, who's with us to give us an update on what's happening at this time. You know, earlier on, Abra, I saw that there was some sort of a press briefing where firefighters were being thanked for their work, and that to me seemed like a wrap-up of what's going on. So at this point, are we then saying there's no more worries about, you know, further flare-ups or more fires at the Parliament building? And what do you see now? What's happening as you stand there just outside Parliament?
Flo, good afternoon to you. I don't want to say there's no worry. Parliament has released a statement to say that it's with great relief that they can say that the fire has been contained, but there are still firefighters, a very scaled down operation of firefighters on site just to make sure just for that complete assurity that everything is under control. And later on today, once they are now 100% sure that everything has been contained, they will then leave, and then a decision will be made about when exactly the site will be handed over to SABC and Public Works. But to speak to me more about this is the spokesperson of Parliament, Moloto Mothapo, who's also been very busy the last few days. Moloto, thank you so much for joining us again. So Parliament are we relieved?
Yeah, I think we can say that we are relieved that the West, and the West meaning the last few days, is over. Since that flare-up was contained at the midnight of yesterday, the firefighters, the fire engines, you would have seen about 2 or 3 of them have remained on site throughout the day and throughout the night to monitor the situation, to ensure that that should there be any flare-up, they are able to attend to it closely. So those who are knowledgeable about the fire situation is that a flare-up can happen at any point, even though you are sure that the fire has been put down. So they have not only been monitoring it from outside, they have been going through the maze that is this very old building of the National Assembly building, and going through each and every room, making an assessment and looking at potential areas of flare-ups as well as the extent of the damage. So they have been working very hard, and that's the reason why the presiding officers also joined the Premier of the Western Cape and the Mayor of Cape Town this afternoon to just do a special moment of expression of gratitude for the courageous and brave fight that these firefighters have put throughout the last 3 days at a great risk to their lives. You would have seen that when the flare-up happened, you were here. You would have seen that there were about 2 firefighters on the roof, and they were, for a moment, they were in sort of distress until another truck, a fire engine, arrived with that long step ladder, and they were able to rescue them and to direct them to the other side of the fire so that they can be able to bombard it from the aerial point of view. So they have really worked very hard, and that's why the presiding officers as well as the Premier and the Mayor really expressed their deepest gratitude to the great work that they've done.
Moloto, thank you so much for your time again, and we'll be getting an update from you, I suppose, later once we know when the official handover has happened, correct?
Yes, you can see that there are 2 fire engines that remain on site. You will see that there are still firefighters who are closely monitoring the situation. Once it is appropriate to do so and they are certain that the work is done, then they will hand over the building to the SABC. And as we have said before, there is a multidisciplinary team of engineers that have arrived in Parliament. I'm sure their work is already in the process, and they will be able to, at some point, give us a complete report with regard to the extent of the damage that has been caused, as well as the amount that it will require for the repairment or for the complete rebuilding of the building. So that is
All right, apologies for that. We seem to have lost the link, but certainly we did get the gist of what's happening at this time in